Alrighty, good evening, YouTube. Again, hopefully you guys can hear me. Back here with another quick movie review. This is one of my favorites, and of course, it involves time travel. Just a tad bit. I forgot to mention the concept beforehand. I think when I was talking about transfers in that review. But this one is Frequency, starring Dennis Quaid, Jim Caviezel, and Andre Bauer. Um, And again, this is one of my favorites. It's a family drama as well as a good semi-science fiction tale about time travel. So, Dennis Quaid, pretty much the plot goes in what I'm about to talk about with Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid's character in this, he's a firefighter that's living in the 1960s, and in the beginning, it pretty much jumps back and forth. Spoiler alert: we actually find out that his character dies, and his son, his older son, well, his future son, in the modern time is played by Jim Caviezel. Jim Caviezel is the guy that played Jesus in Passion of the Christ. Um, he's pretty much a cop, and one night when he was visiting his brother, uh, he finds the old an old radio his dad used to talk on too. I think he talked to other people 9 times out of 10 about baseball. So he's talking on it, and then it has this weird noise. He doesn't know what it is. I guess to the character and to the audience, he thinks that it's the reception. So I think it's either 2 or 3 nights he discovers that he's talking to his dad in the past, and then that's when they figure out that there's time travel. They're talking to each other on a certain frequency um, through time. Now, I'm not an astrophysicist, but I think this movie, the concept at least, came from a theory, and I think they even joked about it on the movie Red Planet when they found that old Russian satellite thing, and they were like, "Yeah, maybe they hear us back from 1997." Um, they used to say with sound and radio, they work in waves. So if it's transmitting through space, sometimes they say, and it's a theory, how space and time on a certain wavelength of a frequency is it cancels each other out, and it's obsolete. So again, I'm not an astrophysicist or a theorist. I remember vaguely hearing that. I don't know from where, but again, don't quote me on it. Just look it up, or ask a person that's into astrology and as well as quantum physics. Um, so pretty much, they end up talking to each other, and bit by bit, um, Jim is trying to help his dad change events. The first event that he helps him change is his own death one day when he was supposed to rescue someone out of a fire, and it's kind of funny, but he keeps changing events, and kind of like the movie The Butterfly Effect, things continue to happen. But the weird thing about time travel in movies is that the only one main character remembers what happens, and they've done that before. I think when Men in Black 3 and in X-Men Days of Future Past. Again, I'll talk about a little bit about that more. But if you've seen the X-Men films, and even Kitty had explained in the movie when she sent Wolverine's consciousness back in time, the last 50 years up to a time point, you're the only one that's going to remember every single event. All of us won't. Time will really change. Um, but to me, writing a time travel story 9 times out of 10, the best way you can really get out of that is saying it's an alternate reality, and even that's a whole different concept on its own. Even in Dragon Ball Z, they, as kids, they fooled everybody until Krillin has said, "What if you didn't change anything at all? What if it just created another time paradox where a set of million outcomes can happen?" And then they had the multiverse thing that a fan had created, and then even another timeline was created where Trunks was the last Saiyan alive and he had got killed. So it played out many different possibilities. Even now, when I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, if one cell had died, in one timeline, how in the hell did he come back? Come to find out, they're both from the same future, but at one point, Cell did end up killing Trunks. So, you know, it was doomed one way or another. And ironically, they made a TV series out of this, you know, this movie. I think it recently had came out. I don't know who's in it, But again, you can look it up. This movie, and then of course the TV series is there. They changed a lot. Um, they changed some of the sexes of the characters, and they changed, I think, some of the occupations of the father and the son. Um, but while they're changing events, then the somewhat subplot in this movie, there's this Nightingale murders that were happening. I think where they live at, it's either in Boston or New York, and come to find out, then this is my issue with the movie. They never really explained why this homicide detective was going around killing, people, and how it fell in line with the main character. I think around the fifth event that he had changed, instead of his dad dying, his mom did, and it was those Nightingale murders, and then things kept continuing to change. He eventually comes into their house, and you know, it changes up events where he escaped in the 60s, but as he attacked in the present day, he ends up getting killed. It was really really good editing and how they did it, but the good happy ending about the story, there really wasn't no major consequence. The father ended up living, and they had a good happy life, and they killed the intruder that came in. So the Jim Caviezel's character is the only one that really remembers what happened, throughout all the events. Again, it was a very good, interesting concept on time travel, but they always say things have a consequence, and that's why the whole quantum theory, of how sometimes time and space can be obsolete. So one way or another, you really don't change anything. You just create another, alternate reality where a certain different outcome happened. And again, I'll talk about it more when we get to Days of Future Past, because it was very, interesting how they did it. And then of course, well, I really can't talk about it because it's a game, but Mortal Kombat did it when Raiden had sent back premonition warning to his earlier self, and then that had changed the sequence of events in the story. So that was the first concept I ever seen them do that. Hopefully, it was one of their original ones, because I give them credit, And then throughout the story, Raiden was having visions on what was gonna happen, but he ended up changing it, and it was pretty unique in the story how they did it. So, you know, um, and of course the butterfly effect. That's probably where they got it from, but of course the butterfly effect story, it was told really really differently, and that really did a good job on playing, on the time, and it did it so well. They had five different endings with that movie, so, and all of them, most of them were pretty sad. The only good one, um, I could say, was the final ending they had chose, and then the other one where I think he ends up talking to his girl, or to the girl he had, only way to save the girl he loved is that he never met her, and then they end up catching up, and talking at the end of the movie. So it was just very sad of how that film was really done. When you try to play God, it's always a consequence. Of course, how they say in Jurassic Park, 3, this is how you make dinosaurs, and Dr. Grant said, no, this is how you play God. And what Ian Malcolm was saying, life always finds a way. So this movie was really good. I liked seeing Jim Caviezel in this. I didn't even know it was him from Passion of the Christ, and he is a really good actor. It just blows that he is strong with his Christian faith. He hasn't had any other roles, I think, any other major roles after Passion of the Christ. So, certain things he wouldn't do, and it was because of his faith, X, Y, and Z. You know, it is what it is. I give a lot of credit to that guy. If I was a director, I would cast him in a role or two that'll fit him. Try to write it as clean, because I liked him in this, and as well as liking him portraying Jesus. So, despite of what historians say, his performance was still good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. There's some more actors and actresses in this film. Andre Bauer, I think he plays the either the chief of the homicide or something like that. He was a friend of the family, so he knew the main character's father and the son. A young Michael Cera appears in this movie. I didn't know it was him, so I looked it up. but he had to be like at least 10 or 8. Who else is in this? The guy that played the actress that played Juliet in Lost, she's in this too. She plays her mom. She was also in Running Scared. It was good to see her these transition in these roles. To be honest, she looks like Carrie Ann Moss a little bit, except Carrie Ann Moss' face is a little bit more narrower. I'm trying to think of who else. The guy that played Dr. Jenner on The Walking Dead, season 1, episode 6, he's in this too. He plays Jim Caviezel's the character's brother. Yeah, it's pretty much all the main actors and actresses I can think of. Of course, Dennis Quaid does a really, really good job. I like most of the movies he's in. You know, he always had that nice leading role. And of course, in the one I'm going to review, I am going to review next, which is Legion. He does a good transitioning performance there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. And I will catch you in the next one, which I already mentioned. Next is going to be Legion. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace. Wow, you cannot see. Look at that bright glare that is on the screen right now.